Hi, this is John from TheRingLord.com. We're going to wrap a laser engraved anodized aluminum disc using these punched anodized aluminum rings. These are sold as our punched 16 gauge 7/32 rings, and saw cut bright aluminum 19 gauge 3/16. And this is very easy, probably the easiest way to wrap a cab that you're likely to find. You just make a simple chain, and you just want to, the anodized aluminum discs are slightly cupped, and what you want to do is you want to put the cups together to make sort of a donut that is a little bit like a toroid shape. And that keeps that. There's a tiny little bit of burr on these, and it keeps the burr together, and actually helps hold your cab really firmly. So we're just making a chain like this, and it needs to be 12 sets of 2 long. Works out well for going all the way around the 1.5 inch anodized aluminum disc, and of course wrapping different anodized aluminum shapes will take different numbers of rings. This works really well on thin discs such as the anodized aluminum, and it's possible it could be adapted for thicker things like gemstone cabs, but it would definitely take some reworking. Okay, I don't think I need to concentrate too much on making this simple one-in-one chain. It's about as easy as chainmail gets. So I'm just going to connect these 2 lengths of 6 units long together, and get on with how you put this onto your discs. Okay, now to keep it on the disc, I find the easiest thing to do is just take one of your rings and go through this nice handy hole in the top, just so you don't have to hang on to both ends. And then what you want to do is just sort of slide the 2 rings such that the bottom one is sticking out a little bit, and then you just use your disc just to pry between them and work all the way around. Now, I'll mention before we get there that when we get to the end, we're going to find we're a little bit short. Now, that's not going to be a problem. What we're going to do to fix that is we're going to oval some of these saw-cut bright aluminum rings just enough so that we can close up that gap. And basically, every time you get a really nice tight custom fit. Now, if you have a slightly larger ring handy, say an 18 gauge 1/4 inch, that might work for just holding it together. Barely. Okay. Good enough just holding it through one. So I'm just going to use that to sort of hold things in place while we go around and oval a few of our rings. So you want to go to the back of your cab and just rotate the rings such that the butt is to the back. In this case, we don't need to gain very much length on this chain, so we don't need to oval all of them, and we don't need to oval them that much. Now for best results, I'm using a plier with teeth and just grabbing it, right, so I've got the butt of the ring closest to the camera, and just give it a little squeeze just to make a very slight oval. If you overdo it, you either need to replace your rings or oval your rings the other direction, which let's try to avoid needing to do that. Okay, so we have certainly made up. We've gotten really close. Let's do just a few more. And now you see if I squeeze, I can get those rings to touch, so that's going to be plenty. Just sort of hold it together while I take out my 18 gauge 1/4 inch ring. And try not to drop it like that. And like all weaves with a really tight last ring, it takes a little bit of sort of finessing that last ring. And now typically we actually want that butt at the back as well. Let's get this extra ring out of the way. Which is not the easiest. And then of course we can hang the ring, or hang the finished pendant, just by going through one of these, or if we prefer, you can go through the hole in the pendant. And I've tried this with our dog tags, 1-inch rings. But I like the scale of this. The 1.5-inch tag works very well for the scale of these punch rings.